gimme cash. Gimme cash. Gimme cash. Gimme cash. Speed tiada calls tanpa hat, tak ada contract.
Only with unlimited hero and GX68, yo.
Hey, that's not all.
Get 360 ringgit cash back to spend it all.
T-shirts, hats,
Jackets, shoes, bully, favorite outfits, order latte and
posing ticket.
not trying to play up. Come on MVP, let's play. Jom play up.
Skins, power-ups,
V money,
weapons.
scoring senang kacang.
Get games so you can win up.
Not do more adulting.
We got just that thing. Bills, investments, insurance, and more. Veggie fruit snacks. Bayar je for real. Senang way not deal. Gimme cash. Gimme cash. Cash to spend.
Anytime, anywhere.
Cashback that makes you go wow.
Only with your mobile.
Live the unlimited life with Unlimited Hero or GX68 and receive up to 360 ringgit cash back in your GoPay's e-wallet to spend anytime, anywhere on anything.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of A Talk with the Industry series, brought to you by SEGi Groups of Colleges. I am your host for tonight, Nicole Lee, and I'm very excited to share the topic of tonight's discussion: digitalization, effects to the job market, and why it matters to fresh grads. Before we go any further, let's do a quick check. If you can hear me, type yes in the comment section below. Type yes in the comment section below. Once again, if you can hear me, do type yes in the comment section below. All right. I see some yeses. Reshimala, Chan. All right. Thank you. I'm so excited. All right. So I'm sure that you are also excited to hear from our very special guest for tonight, Ms Jasmine. So thank you all for the wonderful responses. So feel free to continue interacting with me throughout the session tonight. And if you have any questions for our very special guest, do drop them down at the comment section below. Right. So before we begin, let's do a quick rundown for tonight's talk. So it will be divided into two parts. The first part, our very special guest, Ms Jasmine, will be sharing about her overview of digitalization. Then we will have a halftime break, after which Ms Jasmine will continue to share about the future of digitalization and how it impacts the industry. So finally, we will move on to the much anticipated Q&A session and lucky draw session. Also, about the lucky draw, I think everyone is quite familiar with the rules already, but for the sake of clarity, I will explain it again. So, the winners will be selected randomly from a spinning wheel of names of those who have registered for tonight's session. Gentle reminder for those of you who have not registered, feel free to do it now. So the winners must validate themselves and type out I am the winner to verify themselves when their name is selected. Okay, let's not delay this any further. It's time for our very special guest to come out and share with us her infinite wisdom. Are you all ready? If you are, do type in yes at the comment section below. Type in yes if you are ready. Okay, let me see some yeses. Yes, Edward is ready. Francis is ready. Good, good. Marshall is also ready. Phoebe, yes, very exciting. So, if everyone is ready, then let's put our hands virtually together and welcome Ms Jasmine Lee.
Hi
Hi,
everyone, I'm
it's good
Jasmine
to have
Lee.
you
I'm
here.
the Chief Digital Officer of U Mobile. I just took on this role for the last 2 days only. Before that, I was the Chief Marketing Officer of U Mobile for 8 years. So I decided to take on this role really because the whole world is changing because of digitalization. And the whole catalyst of this was because of the COVID and the lockdown. And we realized that businesses, everybody needs to be digitalized. And today I'm going to talk a bit about how it affects you as fresh graduates, but also how it affects the job market, as well as what you need to know to bring yourself to the digitalized world, and what are the businesses and the industry going through in terms of digitalization. So I realized in the SEGi College logo there was an IR 4.0. So that is really the spirit of digitalization now when it comes to IR 4.0. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So do ask me anything. If I can answer them, I'll answer that. If not, maybe I'll get back to you. So I just want a show of hands, like maybe you can type in the comments page. What courses are you taking now? Are you in marketing, business, psychology, like Nicole? I call her a psycho student, and or any other genres of studies. So at least I know a bit of what your background is, and then I can maybe talk a bit about how it applies to you. Multimedia, okay, that's Kelvin. Law, okay, a bit different. Computing, wow, very good mixture. Huh? I thought all would come from marketing or business. Okay, that's good. Law, all right. I'm very intrigued that the law students are interested in digitalization. That is the most undigitalized industry now, and I do have a lot of lawyer friends that really digital idiots. So I hope the law students from SEGi will really change the world and bring some digital sense into the legal world. Okay, all right, back to you, Nicole.
All right, Ms. Jasmine, as we can see, a lot of these Segians are very excited to hear about what you have to share about digitalization. All right, without further ado, let's get started. For the very first question, perhaps you can share the initiatives that U Mobile brought during the MCO period on digitalization.
Okay, this is a bit of a backwards question because it's already past. I think maybe just to take a step back and maybe talk about what I mean by digitalization. So in the world of internet, that is the start of digitalization. So how do you use the internet and digital to and also things that come out from the digital world like big data, artificial intelligence, and how do you combine these technologies to drive efficiency and automation in the organization and also for you personally. So a lot of things around your world now is actually digitized. Just by this streaming alone, it is a digitalization application. So what it means to be digitalized is really be using technology to do everything better, faster, at a less cost, and generally just making everything more efficient, affordable, and accessible. So that is what we mean by digitalization. It seems very simple, but a lot of the tools in digitalization is already there. Is how do you string it together lah. So just now referring back to the first question, actually during the MCO, it really brought a wake up call also to U Mobile. So we were really experiencing very good growth. So even for me, I had a big realization when COVID hits and when MCO came calling. That time I was holding the position of Chief Marketing Officer in U Mobile. And suddenly I feel very handicapped because a lot of things that we are used to doing, like roadshows, going to colleges and setting up booth and selling and interacting with people, doing big game contests and all that, all can't be done. So for U Mobile, the first thing that we brought to customers during MCO using digitalization is how to reach our customers without having face-to-face. So we improved a lot of the app and web function, a lot of it that you can do your own change of plans, upgrades, buy, pay, everything digitalized. We added a lot more efficiency to the network because we realized the network exploded. Everyone was on the internet all the time, streaming on TikTok, whatever, playing games. And then we needed to change the capacity of a network a little bit. So what we did is we realized that the concentration of all the usage was in the areas where people live because you're on lockdown, obviously. But when we designed our network, it was not meant for so much capacity to where people live. We put a lot of capacity actually in where people play and the malls and also transit centers like your LRT and MRTs. So a lot of these things need to be changed. Again, how we realize all these traffic changes was also because of digitalization. So from the data, we realized that all these patterns of usage have changed. So other than that, we see the need of people to use digital and the internet and data for online learning, webinars like this, and also productivity and also entertainment. Of course, people were watching a lot of Korean dramas and Chinese dramas. So we needed to add on more data. So we gave a lot more data free for productivity. Then we enable also digital payments. We started a wallet as well as payments acceptance, and we help small businesses and all that to go digital. So a lot of people were doing cakes lah at home and also selling their produce or their cooking at home, and they needed ways to collect money other than bank transfer. So we created a lot of digital payments acceptance also through U Mobile. Then a lot more self-help on digital, as well as within the customers, we also offer free digital insurance. So a lot of people felt that, hey, suddenly with COVID, I need insurance. They never thought about it. And how insurance was sold in the past was always through agents and face-to-face. So we sold micro insurance like for 10 ringgit or 3 ringgit, you can get coverage for COVID and also hospitalization if you ever get it. So we sold it digitally through mobile and through our app. So these are some of the things that we have done. We have also enabled some of these project perumahan rakyat, those low-cost housing, to enable free Wi-Fi for those people. So we are trying to also close the digital divide to make data accessible to everyone. So quite a lot of things that we did during pandemic, and through this also we see the importance of digitalization in the organization, from getting data and analytics and seeing how it is applied to the customers. So, and also within our organization, because we don't get to see each other, we are all working from home. A lot of the things that we need to share with each other needs to be digitalized. So dashboards of reports and also online sharing of reports and data that are confidential, we need to change the way we digitalize those as well. Compared to face-to-face meetings, now a lot of things need to be secure. And then during this digitalization process, we also realized the importance of security and cybersecurity. So that has really changed a lot of things during the pandemic. Okay, so far that is how we have contributed to the customers, as also contributed to the industry in terms of changing the way we digitalize. So it also made me realize how important digitalization is, and I decided to change my position to focus the company more on digital. So we created a new division called the digital division, so that I can put more focus into improving all the digital touch points for U Mobile, as well as creating new digital businesses for U Mobile. So that was really caused by the COVID. Before that, I was very happy doing marketing because we had a lot of growth, and the customers are also happy because we give a lot of value, but that is not enough already. So we need to be a lot more innovative in creating new services that help them enhance their lives. So generally, that's the long answer for the short question that you had just now, Nicole.
Thank you, Ms. Jasmine. So, from what I understand, you Mobile have done tons and tons of initiatives to adapt and also help their customers during this MCO period. Also, digitalization is very crucial and important for everyone, especially for the education industry. We need digitalization to attend our classes online and such. So, Ms. Jasmine, as someone who is very experienced in this ever growing industry of digitalization, how can graduates equip themselves to prepare for digitalization?
That is a very good question. I always feel I'm a person who loves technology, so I'm a mass communications graduate. Don't ask me when I graduate; if not, you will know my age. But when I was doing mass communications, one of the courses that was taught in the mass comm class was, now you call it multimedia in SEGi, was telecommunications. And that time, the lecturer was teaching us about this satellite and how telecommunications will change the world. This was before even digital telecommunications. It was still the analog days, you know. So I come from analog. Even my logo here is analog one, you see. So we didn't prepare a digital one. So then I realized through this class how powerful telecommunications and the internet is. So when I was in my university, it was during the internet boom days. So a lot of startups started. Google haven't even started, I think, at that time. It was still using Yahoo and QQ and so on. So then we realized really there's a lot of unlimited potential to digitalization. So then I started getting very interested in it, and I started researching on database marketing. So that was the origin of big data. So if you look back history of big data, you will see database marketing somewhere lah. Okay, so then long story short, I started getting very interested in it, and I started looking up articles, going to the library and searching. So that time no Google so cannot search law. So For you, it's much, much better because a lot of data, a lot of published works are all online, and you have a lot of access to different kind of information. Of course, go for the credible information lah. Don't just read Facebook lah, huh? So that you must keep abreast with the developments in the digital world to be able to equip yourself. Things like what's happening in the social media world in terms of Facebook changing to Meta. Do they want to change, and what do they see as opportunities in the social media world, and who are the social media players, and how are they changing their business model? How are they making money, and what are the new features they're adding on? Because all of you are social media users, so if in the very least you would have an IG, and if not for Facebook is for old people already now. So if you don't have an IG, at least you have a TikTok, or maybe what is popular now is maybe club rooms or other social media accounts. Look at what Google is doing from the day they started, and how they have transformed themselves into doing a lot of other new innovations, from buying ways to Google Maps to the translation now, and all kinds of new applications they're adding on to the Google world, and also the e-commerce apps out there, from your Shopees to your Lazadas to the Alibabas, and what are the things that you can learn from them and keep abreast to this kind of companies and what they are doing, their business models. So it doesn't hurt to get outside of your course. So let's say you're studying law, that I see a lot of lawyers were just now typing, I'm studying law. But it's for law students, it's also good to understand this world, because this is the world where a lot of the legal battles are being fought, from cyber security to cyber crimes, and how do you address this kind from a legal point of view, and how do you update in terms of the laws and policies that are set in the country to be able to handle the digital world, because every business will be digital. So internet is something like a utility now. It's like electricity or water. You really cannot live without it already. You only feel it because you don't have it. Then everybody needs to be connected all the time. If no free Wi-Fi, you need some unlimited plans that you signed up for. So how are all these things changing the way we live, work, and play? You are a very good example. So you understand how you use internet for different things. So you just need to know, how do you make money from it, and how the businesses run with it? How do you take advantage of it in different situations? So that is point number one. You need to keep abreast on the developments of the digital world. So read a lot. If you don't like reading a book, so just go online and read up on some case studies and so on. So in the business world, how is this digitalization changing the way we operate business? So you need to also understand that. So you get some of that from your courses that you attend at SEGi, but a lot more needs to be on your own effort and your own interest. So always take interest in everything new and everything that is progressing. Don't be afraid of it, and be curious. You must always be curious. So for a person like me, I come from a mass comm and I started doing marketing. I have no MBA and didn't study business, but I actually had a startup more than 10 years ago. I actually started a company that went listing, and it was a technology company, because everything that we do when we go out to the job market is about doing business, and it's about how to monetize the things that you do. Either you come up with products and services that you can charge consumers for it. There is somewhere that you need to monetize. So if not, there's no way people will hire you just to have fun lah. So you go and work in a company, you really need to contribute to the either reducing the cost, making the company more efficient, or making money for the company. So I'm in marketing, and I used to drive all the top line revenues for the company. So in digitalization, you need to understand how do you use technology and the internet to improve the way that the company operate and the company sells. So the easiest way to do this is to read up on use cases. So there's a lot of published use cases. Again, I repeat this, and in your course, your lecturers would also have shared some use cases with you. So it's a good way to start. And when you see use cases, even though the use cases have nothing to do with what you're studying, so for example, you are reading up on the use cases of Alibaba and Jack Ma. It means how did he start? How did he get the inspirations to start the business, and what he did, and how did he change the company? What did he see? So a lot of the genres that you're studying, or let's say you're studying marketing, you can understand a bit from the use case how he used technology to do marketing. So let's say you're reading up on AirAsia, and you watch some videos of Tony Fernandez giving an interview. You can also get some insights from there. These are the people who invest in technology to change the way that they do business. So in AirAsia's case, they only sell the lowest fare online. So that time, nobody buys air tickets online. It is all through travel agents and through the shop. People cannot imagine buying air tickets through online. So, but Tony changed that through technology. But he also changed that to branding and marketing. So it's not just hard technology alone. The branding and marketing still works, and you need to make the digitalization sexy so that people can go there. It's about, and also he thinks about the customer experience and the customer journey, and all the points where you can charge the customer for it. So that is thinking that from zero, he creates something and a business out of digitalization. So AirAsia is a good case study. Alibaba is a good case study. Of course, you have the West that has from Facebook to Google, but Facebook also didn't make money for the longest time. And you also need to understand how they start monetizing through advertising or through creating Facebook Live. So all these were part of their journey, and you can see the mistakes that they make, and what opportunities do they see. So I hope I'm making some sense to all of you. So even if I'm not, so try to read up on some case study and find some realization of your own. So this kind of things people cannot teach you because how to say, you have to have that kind of realization, a eureka moment on your own. So you may decide, I don't want to work for people already. After I read all this case study which Jasmine Lee say, suddenly I very pandai, I want to start my own business. So even if you want to start your own business, you also need to understand what are the pitfalls, and you learn from other people's mistakes. But in the digital world, we always say, start fast, fail fast, then recycle, restart, fail fast, recycle. And out of 10 things that you do, maybe one thing will work, but you may have hit the jackpot with the one thing. So try everything, be fearless, and just be very curious and learn everything. Talk to a lot of people, get a lot of insight from different people, and you can learn from different people. And I think people are always very open to share. So that is my third point, and how you equip yourself. Talk to people who are better than you. So the law people go and talk to the computing people go and talk to the law people, so that you can understand each other's discipline. And when you talk to each other, you learn new things about each other's discipline, because you will need this kind of different components to put together to drive you to the digital world. So let's say you're in computing and you say, I don't need to know law one. I just need to know all my coding can already, but cannot, because when you work in a big organization, let's say you are doing a big project of a transformation, IT transformation of a billing system, for example, you will work with a lot of partners and vendors or contractors that will help you develop this system. So as part of this contractor, you have to sign some agreement with this contractor. So if you're just an engineer, you don't know how to look at the agreement, you will kena tipu lah. That means people will put in terms that you don't understand, and then you simply go and sign agreement. So that also cannot happen lah. So you need to know a little bit of every different kind of discipline to be able to deliver one whole show lah. So, and you also cannot not know marketing, because that's how you sell ma. So you cannot just build one system that nobody will use, because the marketing people cannot sell your system. So at the end, you need to know a little bit of discipline and see it from the consumer point of view. So if not, the things that you do won't be used, it won't be sold, so then useless already, then throw away, then you will lose your job. So as simple as that lah. So you yourself also must be digital. So I come to that point lah. So I talk about all the disciplines that you need to know. How do you keep abreast? How do you equip yourself? Then now you need to be digital yourself. So if you're not on a social media yet, you have to get on some social media and start creating content for yourself lah. So whenever I hire a person, I will always ask the person for their either Facebook, IG, or LinkedIn in the very minimum to see the profile of the person. So I want to see how do you digitally profile yourself, because going out to the job market, you are the product. So you go there and sell yourself. So if you do not profile yourself, the people that hires you won't know how to feel you and don't know what is your potential. So be very aware of what you put on your social media, because it will affect how people see you and how people see your potential. So let's say I have already a staff that has joined me, and on the social media, the person is putting rubbish and putting a lot of bad comments about the company that they work with. So that changes the perception of your boss of you, and maybe cannot get promotion lah. Then maybe the way that you are contributing to the company is not there lah. So that is very important. And let's say you are a fresh graduate going into the job market, you also need to profile yourself to let your employers see the professional side of you. Even if you are starting a business of your own, you also need to profile yourself. So let's say you just want to say, I just want to be YouTuber lah, don't need to be anything else. Even as a YouTuber, you need to compare yourself to other YouTubers of the same genre, of whether you can really do what you're doing. So let's say you are a reviewer of Nike sneakers. So then you have other people reviewing Nike sneakers. Why are you different? So again, it is you are the product. How do you package yourself to show that you are better than another person, and why people need to hire you? So the best platform to do this is actually LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, what you post should not be whatever you post on your Facebook or IG or your TikTok, unless those kind of posting are a bit more professional. So LinkedIn are mainly opinion pieces. You talk about your point of view of things that are a bit more professional. So for example, you talk about your point of view of the latest Facebook change of brand to Meta, and do you how do you see apply to whatever you're doing? So that gives people a point of view of you that is very professional. So it also may be nothing to do with the digital world. So you're commenting on maybe Undi 18, for example, where next year there is 18-year-olds get to vote. So you will talk about how youth is changing the society and so on. So that is another opinion piece that you can put in, where it profiles you as a person who is very learned, you have read a lot, you are very exposed, or even if you're doing a travel piece, so you go travel lah, you don't just take selfie, take the monuments, but you also need to maybe share a bit on your travel experience and how it has changed your worldview and point of view about people, about cultures, that you can put on your LinkedIn. So this all is very important to profile yourself lah. So all these are your digital footprints, So when people Google and search for Nicole Lee, our MC today, what will they find? Will they find Nicole Lee clubbing? Or will they find Nicole Lee the MC? Or will they find Nicole Lee in different situations? So if you Google Jasmine Lee now, I don't know what you will find lah. But there is a Korean actress called Jasmine Lee also lah. So sometimes you will find her, but in most of when you Google Jasmine Lee, most of it will be about U-Mobile. So I also profile a lot of my professional on U-Mobile, but I also profile a lot of my personal life and lifestyle to give a flavor to my professional life. So I am a bit atas. I collect Chanels. So people always know that I have a lot of Chanel. So a lot of Chanel people follow me. But I also travel a lot. So I've traveled to the 7 continents in the world, including Antarctica. So people who like travel also follows me. But in that sense, it profiles me from a professional, but also the personal side is very colorful, but nothing that will hurt your image. So you must be very careful of what you post. Do not drunk post things, okay? So that is very important. So it's like do not drunk text people, okay? So other than profiling yourself, you need to be very conscious of the journey that you cannot suddenly be a clubber every day playing games, then suddenly become very professional. It doesn't work that way. So in the marketing message, you have to slowly transition into a person that you want to package yourself in. And there are a lot of first jobbers that I see that tend to delete everything that was in their past, or they that's why they like stories, because IG stories only 24 hours. But um, deleting is also not a good idea, because then you have something to hide. So that also is important to keep in mind. How do you slowly transition to a person that you want to package and want to package yourself or to be perceived as lah. So cannot just simply delete and change one lah. So generally I spend a bit more time on this, because I think it's important to just give your some tips on what to do. So again, I repeat, keep abreast to all the digital changes out there, things like 5G, edge computing, big data, e-commerce, all those things you have to keep abreast, and know how all these things are changing businesses, changing lives, and changing the way we work and play lah. Then the fastest way to do this is through use cases. So read up on big companies that are successful, or even small startups that are successful. And the local ones are the best, because those are the ones that apply to where you live lah. So people like Grab lah, people like Shopee lah. So those are all the Malaysian Asian examples lah. So read up on all these use cases. And the last thing is really make yourself digitally perceived digitally through all your digital footprints. Make yourself the product that where you package for people to see you. So those are not just social but also professional. So these few things you got to do to equip yourself. So very long-winded lah. Then I pass back to Nicole. Okay. Nicole, you're on mute. I think people fall asleep already. The producer fall asleep already. That's why you are on mute. I think we are going into a break because you can't hear Nicole now. Nicole, I think you're still on mute. I think the producer hilang already because see? Can everyone still hear me? If you still can hear me, please raise your hand or say a yes. All can still hear me. So I'm left alone, and now they are changing back to Nicole, and I see Nicole on the screen. So far, so I'm reading your comments, and I wanted to ask, so far, are you all getting what I'm saying, or you feel that I'm talking too fast, and maybe I can slow down a bit?
Okay, Ms. Jasmine, I do apologize to you and our viewers at home. We did experience some technical difficulties. So sorry. But once again, thank you so much for your valuable advice. I have been taking some mental notes. So, from what you've mentioned, being updated about digitalization is important, opening up our horizons so we don't only stay to our own course and so on. And also, to our viewers out there, be sure that your LinkedIn is clean and don't post any controversial stuff, as Miss Jasmine has put it just now. So only the good stuff. All right. So we have finally reached our halftime break, and when we return, Miss Jasmine will share with us more about the future of digitalization and how it impacts the industry. After that, we will move on to our much awaited lucky draw and Q&A session. So don't forget to drop in your questions for Miss Jasmine to answer later. And also, for those who have not registered yet, be sure to register and also share this post to your Facebook and tag 3 friends to qualify for our very interesting lucky draw prizes. All right, so we will be going to a break for a while. See you guys in a while. All right, welcome back, everyone. We have Ms. Jasmine with us here tonight to share with us her insights about digitalization. All right, so far, a quick recap, Ms. Jasmine. We talked about the initiatives of that U Mobile has brought during the MCO period on digitalization, and you've also shared some very in-depth advice about how our graduates can better equip themselves to prepare for digitalization. And all of these incredible insights have us questioning, is digitalization the future for all businesses? And how exactly does it impact the telecommunication industry?
So this is a very big question, and more for if you don't have digitalization, I think everything will collapse. We are very, very, very dependent on the internet now and on data, not only personally but in businesses. Everything is online now, including banking, which is a very old industry that has now also going into digital banks. I think Bank Negara is issuing the digital bank license next year, and that will also change the landscape for businesses. So I want to talk a bit now about 5G. So because that is the one that will change, leapfrog digitalization for businesses and also change the telecommunications industry. So when we compare 3G to 4G, there is not much difference. So this is something you all got to read up on also, and how will it change the world. So 5G seems to be the buzzword now for telecommunication because just people like the sound of it lah. 5G sounds like very ons like that, and means it's very fast lah. And but the point is for 5G, there's nothing much you can do now on 5G that you can't do on 4G. Maybe it's just faster and less buffering lah. But you cannot watch a video any faster. You cannot play a game any faster because it's still your hands. So the application to consumers is really not much. But the application to businesses and to industry is really the big change that 5G will bring. So that I answer your question in this two at the same time. So in telecommunications, 5G is the one that will be the catalyst of digitalization and change everything. So what I mean by it doesn't really affect consumers, it affects industry. So the real application of 5G now that we see around the world, the most used case for 5G will be things like smart ports. That means that like the Singapore port basically uses 5G to wire up the whole port, and everything is mobilized and works via robotics, hydraulics and whatnot. So you don't need humans to drive carts around and do this. So with that, you need private networks around the ports to be able to do this. With the Alibaba Taobao example, they have big warehouses. Tomorrow is 11/11. I think tonight a lot of people not sleeping lah. So when you do your e-commerce purchase, the whole thing that is enabling and energizing ports and also the logistics of the things that you buy online in China and Alibaba and Taobao is basically 5G. So it runs the big warehouses all at the same time with a lot of data, processing in the background. So these are massive machines application. So the real use case of 5G is in industry. Then imagine a farm where the whole farm, like a whole paddy field or whole wheat field or whole kelapa sawit, that you do not need humans to manage. So everything is managed by Internet of Things. You put in sensors into the plants and they tell you when to water, and even the watering of plants, putting baja, is all through robotics. And that needs a very big capacity of data to process all this data at the same time. So that is the real use case of 5G. And then that builds efficiency, lower cost, but there is the thinking of what do humans do then. So humans will do more nurturing things, and instead anything that can be replaced with machines will be great. But of course, machines are stupid lah. You still need humans to do some things. So really the use of 5G will be this, and that is the real industrial revolution 4.0. So when you are graduating from this, you really need to understand how will 5G and beyond change the world. Then you will really see the connectivity that you see in movies lah. Like suddenly, holograms of things and so on. So when we went through COVID, we really had a wake-up call. And during the lockdown, a lot of the retailers, a lot of people were out of job and they're handicapped because they are so used to physical one-to-one interaction. And then when we can't talk to each other physically, the only thing that we can do is rely on the digital world. So the COVID really helped us to push forward digitalization of everything. And now Malaysia, we launched some active sites today for 5G and doing a test. We will soon be seeing 5G launch in Malaysia probably next year, and we will start seeing some use cases. So if you graduate and you decide to do a startup, I'm in computing, maybe I will focus on edge computing and will start doing applications for 5G. That I feel that it is the next .com boom that we will be experiencing. And I always encourage Malaysians to do this because Malaysians tend to have a wider worldview. We are very adaptable because we come in a multicultural country, and you see a lot of the Malaysian startups doing very well in the technology area. So people like Grab and Shopee all started from Malaysia, not Singapore, but because Singapore government give them money, so it is important to use up that multicultural experience and develop something that is useful and adaptable worldwide. But of course, you learn from the tech giants like in China and US, and you adopt some of the ideas from them and apply it locally and in Southeast Asia. So that is like Grab is not the first one to think of ride sharing. So you have the Uber and Links before, but Grab learn from what they do and they do it better. So that is also some thinking that you can see on opportunities for you in the job market, as well as how these things, when it comes, 5G will come in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years. When you graduate is really the right time. So really take the time to understand the technology, understand worldwide how things are being launched in 5G, and what are the things that is being adopted in other countries, and how can it apply to Malaysia. So we have a lot of vertical industry that can be used using 5G. Medicine is one of them. We have things like remote diagnosis, remote surgery, that all needs 5G to be able to do the work. And we have big agriculture industry that also are very labor heavy today, that we have to import workers from Indonesia, Bangladesh to be able to run our farms. So maybe something to think about, where you use technology to not rely on foreign workers. Then other things are like smart cities, flood monitoring. So we have flash floods in the cities all the time. How do we use technology to build that efficiency to be able to avoid floods in the city? So that is a lot of interesting things to think about. So sometimes I wish I a bit more pandai during my school days, that I go and study science, and I do computing, and I do engineering. So because these are the people that will change the world. But I would advise that people who are in engineering, please learn up a bit of marketing and business, because it is this kind of combination that is the best. I think you see from all the internet startups that are successful, they are a good combination of both. So if I have children, I will force them to go and study big data lah, analytics lah, and then add in a bit of business. Then it will make you a very, very complete end-to-end person to think of it. So if you're in marketing or multimedia, don't be disheartened. Take a lot of interest on technology and how you can harness it. Then you can also do something with your career with it. So don't only keep in your discipline, you need to be end to end for all this. So my message in this last question will be, really go and learn up about 5G and the things related to 5G that can change industry and change the way we work and play and live. Okay.
So, in essence, digitalization is the future of all the industries. So, dear viewers, it is best for all of us to, prepare ourselves for the future of digitalization. So, thank you so much, Ms. Jasmine, for your insights. And I'm sure that many of the fresh grads and students who are watching, myself included, are very enlightened, and we have learned a thing or two about digitalization thanks to your sharing tonight. So now I'm sure that our audience have tons and tons of questions for you. So members of the audience, if you have any questions for Miss Jasmine, do leave it down in the comment section below, and we will answer as many as we can. So, without further ado, let's jump right into our Q&A and lucky draw session. So, again, I would like to remind the winners to validate themselves by typing I am the winner when the spinning wheel has selected your name. If not, the prizes will go on to the next winner. All right. So, without further ado, let's spin that wheel. Right. So these are the merchandise from U Mobile that you will be winning. So let's see who is our first lucky winner. All right, Alex. Alex, please validate yourself by typing in "I am the winner." In the meantime, let's see if our audiences have any questions for Miss Jasmine. Okay, we have a question from Chris. You mobile have any job opportunities for us if things are going into digitalization? So Chris is asking if U Mobile is offering any job opportunities.
Krisa, you're not listening to me the whole night. So I've been saying that digitalization doesn't mean you're replacing people. It's more how people are using technology to make things better and more efficient. So of course we have job opportunities. I have one whole division now called digital division. So there is of job opportunity. You still need humans to think and do the work and ask the machine to do the work lah. So it's not only machine themselves very pandai can suddenly do the work themselves, you know. So there is always job opportunities. Maybe I combine this question with another question of asking about when things go back to where is it? Will 5G generate more job opportunities for all of us? I was just talking about 5G and how it creates new opportunities, the new dot-com boom, the IR 4.0. So definitely there will be a lot of new types of jobs that will come. There will, like last time, you will never think of chief technology officer one in maybe 30 years ago. There was no such job. But because of the internet boom, then you created chief information officer, chief technology officer, and you created a lot more jobs related to content creation, social media. Now you even have digital marketing people and social media people, all different. So 5G will definitely generate more job opportunities for all of us because there will be new kinds of jobs that come about. Like when the world started the first industrial revolution, when the world started having factories, so this kind of new kind of jobs come up, factory manager. So now that you have 5G, a new kind of job will be created. Things like maybe you're doing Internet of Things for agriculture. So you're an Internet of Things designer. So that has never been a job that was available before. So when you look at the different technologies and digitalization, think for yourself, what can you do? And you create the job for yourself and not wait for the job to be advertised. So sometimes when you go for job interviews also, that is what you need to put forward in terms of your value. So what is the value that you create? You just say that, oh, I'm very good at law. I'm a law student, but I've read up. I'm very very proficient in cyber law, so I know this, and then people will know how to package you, and you understand 5G and the law that covers 5G, for example. Then you create another job for you in the law industry. So there is no digital lawyer currently. I don't see that kind of job. So maybe in the future there will be a digital lawyer. So that is one example lah. Okay, so I
I
combine two
see.
of the questions together.
So the keynote here is personal branding will definitely help with job opportunities.
That helps, but I also want to say that humans are still doing the work, not machines. Humans are creating the work that machines will do to make it more efficient. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jasmine, for the answer. Our winner has identified himself. Thank
Bagus.
you.
What did you win?
U Mobile merchandise.
I have that exact same mark. Every morning I drink from it.
Great. All right. So now let us move on to the second name. Let's spin the wheel. All right. Who is our lucky winner for today? Our second lucky winner is Howard. Congratulations, Howard. Do drop in a comment saying you are the winner. Say I am the winner to get your exclusive U Mobile merchandise. All right, so while we wait for Howard, let's move into our other questions. So we have a question here. If one day everything goes back to normal, physical, do you think the digital world will still play a huge role? All right, Ms. Jasmine?
Sorry, what was the question again? I was trying to read the comments. Oh, physical
Oh,
world, and then do you think the digital world still? Of course. So
yes.
after you so used to ordering Grab food and taking Grab and then ordering everything online, and then tomorrow 11 sale, do you think you will still uh it will be different? I think it is more now that the physical world is open. Now the physical world has a wake up call of how do they adapt digital world. So people cannot go back to a normal physical world anymore. So even now that we can dine in, I'm very used to making all the bookings online already. So I will use a table app and book all my tables even if I want to dine in. So it changes the way we identify, search for things and book things. In the very least, now everybody is searching for things already. So do you realize that everything before you do anything, you will search whether this place is Instagrammable or Instaworthy, and whether this place the food nice or not. And if you like, you will always do that search. So even with the physical world, the digital world is there. So we have this term called online to offline and offline to online. So that after the COVID is even more pronounced now. So if when we go back to the normal world, the digital world now exists the same time. So I also noticed that in Uniqlo, some of the Uniqlo shops have closed, but they kept some of the key ones, and because they are complementing it with their digital side. Although I must say their app not so nice lah, not so user friendly, but a lot of people are already combining the offline shopping with the online. So you may go and try baju, but you will still buy online, something like that. So it really now coexists already, the physical and the digital world. So in the future, when 5G comes, when you have things like augmented reality, virtual reality, maybe that physical world will also change. So for example, now you really don't need to try on clothes. The augmented reality will let you try on the clothes without you physically going to try on. So that really helps, and that helps with contactless, as well. So when you have virtual reality, like going into viewing a property, for example, you want to buy property, no need to go and view already. You can just do virtual reality like you're actually in the property. So this is what 5G brings to you also, and it changes that kind of physical touch world. But you still will still buy the property and live in it lah. But just that the viewing will be different already. So some of the use case that I share with you today. Okay.
Yeah, it is amazing to see the prospects of how digitalization can advance for us humans. All right, so our winner has identified himself. Now
Bagus.
let's move on.
Mm.
All right, so for our very last lucky winner, spin the wheel. Let's see who is our last lucky winner. Wow, our last lucky winner is Chanel
Hey,
One.
Chanel. I like Chanel.
It's Miss Jasmine's favorite brand.
Yeah, yes.
All right, so Chanel, please identify yourself by typing in I am the winner. And while we wait for Chanel, let's move on to our last question.
I think this
So,
Chanel is fake name lah, because I say I like Chanel.
yeah,
Okay.
extra lucky. What are some of the biggest roadblocks that businesses face along the digitalization journey?
I think most of it is people and mindsets. There is nothing wrong with the technology one. It's always people who don't see the potential of technology. There's a lot of fear of how digitalization will change, or people are in fear of losing their jobs. But you cannot stop it. It comes whether you like it or not. So a lot of people who have been resisting digitalization during the COVID, they realize like if I have a shop and never have delivery for the shop, for food, suddenly when COVID hits, you have no income at all. So you cannot avoid it lah. So in a lot of companies, when it comes to digitalization, they start with very old systems. So they may have different systems for their Wi-Fi, different systems for their customer data. So all digitalization starts with data, and the big data is the heart. So you basically take all your source of data and put it inside and do some modeling and organizing of all this data. And you will always realize that the data is very dirty. So you have data that is from maybe warranty cards lah, from invoices that are all physical lah, and suddenly you need to digitize all of them. And when it comes to that, it is also the limitation of the people's mindset of how do I combine this. A lot of people give up because in any kind of digitalization projects is never easy. So people will say, oh, yo, it's very hard, then give up. Then they go back to what they're comfortable with writing invoice on paper and keeping data on paper, or just putting everything in Excel. And then that is what they're comfortable with. So to make that change is always very hard for people. And in any organization, it's always the people's mindset that blocks the biggest block of it lah. It's either they don't understand, or they are lazy to do, or they give up. So in any digital project, we always say think big, start small. So you have small wins along the way, and then finally when you add up everything, sikit-sikit menjadi bukit lah. So then everything will come into place. So, and the person who drives digitalization for every organization cannot also start from the smallest person. Of course, everyone's attitude is important, but it all starts from the top, and the top must believe in it. So let's say you are a small exec that just joined the company and you believe in it. So you must always lobby your boss, to the biggest boss lah, to also believe in it, to buy into your idea, to make that change. So digitalization is also about change management. So if you're in business school, you will be reading about change management and how do you do that. So in everything to do with society, people, community is always about change management, where people of like-mindedness get together and do a change. So if you are one person, it's always very hard. So in an organization, if you're sendiri fighting the battle, you will always lose. An organization is always about working as a team and getting other people to do their part so that everyone come together as one. So you, like me alone, I can be very, very intelligent. I can be very, very hardworking, but I can never deliver a digitization project for the whole organization because I'm alone. So it's like the last time there was this cerita dongeng story of the mother taking the chopstick and breaking it. So if you're alone, it can break very easily, but if you have a whole stack of chopstick, cannot break. So it is something like that lah. So the first thing is change management is hard. You really need to work as a team, and then you really need to think big and start small and have small wins. And always the first battle is people's mindset. So these are the few things that you need to look out for.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thank you so much for answering all of our questions, Ms. Jasmine. And
Okay.
congratulations to all the winners for tonight.
Congrats.
Yeah, you guys are so lucky. So,
Please come to U Mobile and change your life to U Mobile, please.
yes. So, until we meet again, stay safe and have a wonderful evening ahead to all of you guys.
Thank you,
So,
everyone, for spending time.
yes, once again, let's thank Miss Jasmine at the comment section below. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. All right. See you all. Good night.